Hello everybody, welcome back to Burnt Church. I hope everybody's having a good day. It has turned real cool here. It's just almost 80 degrees, but the humidity, there isn't any humidity, and there's a good breeze, so we're doing good here. So I'd like to take a second to ask you, if you haven't already, to click the thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and we have been struggling with it here lately. Our videos aren't getting any views. And we would sure appreciate it if you would click that thumbs up button. It would help us a lot. And if you hadn't subscribed, take a second and hit the subscribe button. Follow us along. We do a lot of neat things here sometimes, and then a lot of times it's just boring. So I'm wanting to talk about some of the good results of the electroculture. Have any of you tried this yet? And if you have, leave some of your experiences in the comments for us. That way maybe I can share them with more people. I'm going to read a few of the good results that other people has had. And stick around just a minute. Some of them are real interesting, and you might learn something that you didn't already know about electroculture. And if you're new to electroculture, some of these comments that I'm going to read might inspire you to try it. These comments are coming off of some of our electroculture videos, and the first video that I'm reading some comments from is called Electroculture New Method Goldmine, from Elizabeth Hall, 1716. Said, I'm a believer that there's something to this. I made some smaller ones with a piece of wire my husband gave me. Made 3 in all with it. Stuck one into a large container with my raspberry bush. The fire ants had pretty much taken it over. Been fighting them for about 3 years in that container. I stuck one of the small copper coil in there. In about 2 weeks or so, the ants are gone. I'm impressed. That, I don't know if they work any for bug control or not, but this lady here seems to think that might be what got rid of the fire ants for her. And I hope it is, because we have trouble with fire ants here. And I haven't tried it for that, but I may try it now. I did notice on my sweet potatoes that where I've got the copper coils, the leaves didn't seem to have as many bug bites. I think I even showed that in one of these videos, I believe. Our next comment is from George Prasad, 1423. Good day. The more turns, the better results. I use 2 copper rolls from an old food processor, and the results are fantastic. So I think he's just using a roll of copper and just sticking the wires in, is what it sounds like here. And I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that as long as you have coils with the copper stuck in the ground, it helps some. Now that's just from a lot of comments I've read from a lot of these different videos. So here is a real good comment from Stetson01. I noticed that when you placed the coils, they were wrapped counterclockwise, upside down. The instructions at most sites instruct you to install the coils wrapped clockwise above the equator and counterclockwise below the equator. And they are right. Everything that I can find out about it says you need it clockwise, like this one, when you're in the northern hemisphere. Some people think you can flip it over, but it's the same way when you flip it over. It's still turned the same way. I had wrapped some of those the wrong direction, and I didn't even realize it. Whenever I done the video, there was a lot of them pointed out, and that's a real good comment, because I messed up, and I made another video talking about that I had screwed up. I think the name of the video was I Screwed Up, I believe is the name of it. And the ones that I screwed up on that was coiled backwards, they really didn't seem to do as good as the ones that was coiled in the right direction. Now, I know there's a lot of variation there. Things could change, but just my opinion, the ones that I had that was counterclockwise didn't do as good. So here is a real good comment, and if any of you can get to this and look at it, it might help you. I haven't been able to get to it and see it, but Lewis J. Davis, United States Department of Agriculture, Bulletin Numbers 1379, 1926 peer-reviewed study from the 1850s. If you can get to the PDF file, you will be greatly rewarded. I'll try to put something up here showing where he says to go look. And if any of y'all can get to that, if you would, leave a comment about what it says, because I've not been able to get there. So here's another interesting comment, and it's on a Electroculture update video. And it says, I read that the Electroculture coil works for a distance of 3 feet. Now that may be so, but in my case, some of mine wasn't very tall. And I found maybe a couple of feet. And it was all on the north side of the coil. The plants on the north side of the coil seemed to grow a lot better than the plants on the south side of the coil. Now that was my experience. Everybody may have a different experience. And if you have got different experiences, leave it in the comments. That way other people can learn. That's how we learn, is by passing on what we have found out doing our studies ourselves. As far as the distance, I didn't notice them going that far away. About 2 foot is as far as I noticed any growth change. After I got further away than that, I didn't see as much growth on the plants as I did right close to the coil. A taller coil might be a different story. Lori Landers, 2008, asked a good question. She said, did you wind the coils clockwise for above crops and counterclockwise for root bearing, like potatoes? And no, I didn't. Everything that I done, I tried to do clockwise. Now, I screwed up on some of them, and I did turn it counterclockwise, but that was totally by accident. My purpose was to wind them all clockwise. And I've not seen anything else saying that you need it counterclockwise for root crops. If anybody else has seen that, leave some information for me. I would like to go see it. And here is a real good question. I can't pronounce the name, but they ask, does a tomato cage around a plant act like an electroculture too? Now, it's my opinion, this has nothing to do with this type of electroculture. What they're talking about is the tomato cages around your tomatoes. And for several years, I have thought that when I put them cages around the tomato, it seems like that tomato outgrows the ones that I don't have a cage around. Now, I can't tell you that that's proof, but for years I've noticed that. So there may be something to what this person's asking. It's a real good question. Here's one just for fun. AntiX44 asked, what if you think the earth is flat? What does that do to clockwise copper? Well, I don't really know. I guess if the earth's flat, you still need it right clockwise, I guess. I don't know, because everybody up north around here seems to think the clockwise is what's working. So if the earth's flat, clockwise should work for everybody. But that's a good comment. That'll get you to thinking. So we're about to wrap this up. I can see it's starting to get a little long. I'm trying to keep it around 8 or 9 minutes. But Trevor Kellaway, 8895, put a comment down that says, tomatoes and onions don't mix. Well, I've always thought that onions is a good plant to mix in with others. And I've never had a problem with onions growing next to something. Maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, y'all can tell me about it in the comments. So onions and garlic, I like both of them as a natural pesticide. I put them in with plants to try to deter the bugs to keep them away. And it does seem to help some, but I mean, sometimes bugs is just going to get on your plants. Despite of everything you do, I have had to just pick bugs off of the plants. It was the only way I could keep them under control. Stink bugs especially. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I enjoyed talking about it. And I'm all open to learn anything that I can learn about this electroculture, because I feel like it works to some degree. I'm not going to replace my fertilizer completely with it. And I don't think that's really what it's for. I think it's to help the fertilizer get absorbed into the plant. Y'all can go check out these videos of mine and see what you think. But I thank you for watching. I pray God blesses you, and I'll see you in the next one.